Hi everyone, welcome back to season 2 of the Highly Opinionated Voices. I'm your lovely host Matilda.
And I am your co-host. My name is Bonareri.
Nice. This is a podcast that sets out to disrupt the already existing status quo. We are going to be questioning the societal norms that affect our way of life.
So tune in every Sunday, 3 p.m. East African time, and have fun with us as we engage and conversate and have thought-provoking conversations. So karibuni. Matilda, what is our first opening topic? You know, it's been a minute since.
Yes, Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, everybody. We are back, season 2.
Monday.
Season 2. I kept telling people we are waiting for season 2. People kept asking because we did season 1 and then we kind of paused. But now we are back. This is season 2. I kept telling you guys we're going to come back bigger and better for season 2. So here we are. Engage with us on our first topic. Matilda, do you want to introduce it?
Of course, I do want to introduce our first topic. Our first topic is about Gen Z, Generation Z. The generation that was born from 1997 onwards.
Okay.
I don't know when. I don't know when Generation Alpha or when. I'm unable to keep up with the numbers. Gen Z want to be employed for their personality, not for their experience, their personality. Does it matter?
Okay, I have a question. What do you mean they want to be employed by their personality? Assuming I have advertised for a role, I want a receptionist. So what does Gen Z want in that perspective?
From my own understanding, I feel like Gen Z want to bring in vibes and inshallah. Mimi ni msewa ma vibes, naweza do maybe MC job, you know. And what I've realized is Gen Z are very good at entertainment content creation. In the entertainment industry, they do really well. But now when you say they are going for job interviews and they are being asked, what is your personality? Nobody is asking you what is your personality. They're being asked, bring 5 years experience, bring 3 years experience. But then they're like, I want to bring in my good vibes. I want to shake things a little bit in this company. But then you realize now when you're talking about a job like a receptionist, what is the kind of personality do we want?
Okay.
Mtu mwenye anafanya job ya receptionist.
Okay.
Because now for most of these jobs, most of the times even before you go for the actual interview, they do personality tests. And this personality test is there to help the company to figure out which kind of role will Bonareri do well in. Because if you are very introverted, you'll do well as a finance person, say accounts pale, utacook toboa series za company. You get me? Sasa kama wewe ni mse outgoing, you will do well as a customer care representative. Wewe ni mse wenye utasaidia, utaongea na wasee. Au utakuwa ule kutwa na pale na mtu ati wewe ni mse wa customer care na hata watu hawezi kukuapproach. So from my understanding, maybe that's what they mean by personality. Because if we employ them based on their personality and it's these personalities they're bringing in the job, if it's matching with the kind of job they're going to do, then it's fine.
So on my end, what I thought about when I read the topic is, first I wanted to appreciate what Gen Z are doing in the current corporate or job world. They're coming to show you millennials or the rest of us who are there before them that it doesn't have to suck. If we do an analysis of how many people are in jobs that they currently do not like, from our parents, even when you see how your parents used to come back from work angry, you get. So it's like most of the millennials and the people before Gen Z are sticking in jobs that they do not like. But Gen Z is coming to show you that imagine you do not have to stick to it. And I feel like we could cut them some slack because we are telling them we used to do this, so fit in. What if it's actually we are fitting in? We used to do it, so let's fit in, but we are actually depressed. We are mad. We are coming back home angry, transferring our anger to the kids and people who do not deserve anger just because we got mad at work. So if they want to be employed by for their personality, I think they're trying to even cut the amount of work depression that we see people experiencing in their work place. For example, when I used to work in Westlands, there's this audit firm. I think it's an accounting firm. It's a big accounting firm. It's for, if I remember the name, I'll tell you. Kuna mtu alijirusha. You can imagine the amount of money somebody is sitting there and saying, when I finish school I would want to be employed by this company. It's an audit company. Watu wa accounts ndio wanafanyanga kazi huko. Nimesahau hiyo jina, but they do a lot of audits for big companies. But one of their employees, a manager, just jumped from there, I don't know what floor. So what is he going through? Because from where we sit, we are seeing money. He must be making a lot of money working for that organization. But if I'm telling you, employ me for my vibes, I'm even trying to be sane, because this is the time, this is how much time are you spending at work versus at home. So I feel like if they want to be employed with their personality, because of their personality, can't you see like they have a point? Because they're going to come there, choose their personality as well, but choose their skills too. Choose their skills, but please consider choosing their personality as well, because you as an employer also want to reduce the cases of employee turnover. Imagine having to rehire, because anyway, which generation is there after millennials? See, it's Gen Z, and then it will get worse and worse. So you want to tell me you don't want to have employees, because these are the people who are going to be employed after us, after people have retired. So if they are saying we can't work with you because your environment is toxic, can the employers just listen to them, because they are more articulate enough to voice complaints that the people before them, millennials, kwenda nyuma, they can't voice, but they feel it. But they can't voice it. What they have, ndio maana wanaitwa Gen Z, is that they can voice it. They can voice things that we ourselves cannot voice. We are tolerating. But then they can voice it. And you can imagine the number of people who will back them up if they stand and say, I was really impressed by when the results came out. There's a student who came and spoke about wameibiwa nini. Did you see the confidence?
No, I know I didn't.
There's a student who came and said she's always passing her exams, walimark vibaya nini. And then so wanaomba kurudiwa. And then we came to realize that many schools had complaints of kuibiwa. But people were quiet. It took a Gen Z who we quote unquote say that they don't care, or they're not hawana morals or what, to voice something that the rest of us should have voiced, but they're more courageous enough to voice it. So saying that they're being employed because of they want to be employed because of their personality, I think it is just a thing that people who are shy are putting it on them, like you're shocked that this person has a voice to voice it. There's a friend of mine who I consider Gen Z, or our friend group always says she's Gen Z. So she's mostly self-employed. She's going to listen to this video. She will know I'm talking about her. But one day she came and told us, guys, I've gotten a job in a hotel, because she's a chef. We were surprised, and you know what we thought? We thought like, how, like finally, because she's always wanted to just venture on her own. Self-employment, she's a very good chef. So if you have a cooking gig that you need a chef, she'll come through, and she'll come through very nicely because she knows how to cook. So she went to that job. One day she called me that evening and told me she's resigned. She's not going back.
She was there for one day.
One day she reported in the morning, and then she resigned in the evening. And then the rest of us were just like Gen Z. But I remember asking her, so what is the problem? She told me in that hotel that she went to, they don't cook fresh food. So customer kikuja, they hit mboga yenye hata sijui ilipikwa lini. Have you ever gone to a hotel, it looks like it's a good hotel, but you get food poisoning? Why? And then she was against that. That's what she was trying to tell the employer. She was like, can we then store the vegetables and then we just cook them while it's fresh? But the employer was like, we've always done this before. This is how we've been doing it. Ulitupata tukifanya hivi. So She was even like, I couldn't eat that food myself because when you see the food, it clearly looks like it has overstayed in the fridge.
It's unhygienic.
So you, the person who's going into that hotel right now, if you're going to eat fresh food, it is because a Gen Z told that person that stop cooking bad food for your clients. First of all, when your clients get sick, this is bad business. Number two, it's like stealing from the client because you're charging me, it's a nice hotel, you're charging me for fresh food, but mimi kazi yangu kama chef ni kuhit kwanza food yenye imekuanga kwa fridge. Iishe kwanza before tutoe food ingine.
True.
And she couldn't take that. So what would you say in that context? Because I feel she was kind of right.
Yeah, she also considered her ethics.
Yeah.
I think this is more of an ethical issue.
Yeah.
And you telling people that this is wrong. Giving people spoiled food is wrong. Giving people food ambayo imelala is wrong. It's an ethical issue. And it's good that we are having Gen Zs who are living wanafanya kitu ambayo inafaa. Because we as millennials, we grew up in a generation where we were taught to tolerate. You are taught to tolerate. You do not want to even eat. You are forced to eat. You are forced to shower. You are forced to do almost everything. So you become an adult who cannot voice out their concerns. But now with Gen Zs, they are able to articulate their issues. Another thing I noticed about Gen Zs, when you're working with Gen Zs in the office, you find that some of these people, they will clock in early and they will clock out early.
On time.
If you are supposed to report at 8 a.m. and leave by 5 p.m., mind you, 5 p.m. ako kwa gate. They respect their time. These people respect their time. They follow their job description. A Gen Z will tell you to your face, that role you are giving me is not in the JD. They will tell you. They have work boundaries. These are people who will tell even supervisors, no, I will not do that for you today. You are expecting a Gen Z to work overtime with no pay. You're expecting a Gen Z to work for you every month. Every month anakujaga kila siku, anafanya kazi yake kwa bidii, and then you're delaying her salary or his salary. And you're expecting a Gen Z to be comfortable with that. I think these are the kind of personalities that these companies are not okay with. The companies are okay with watu wa kuvumilia. Alafu with these harsh economic times, most of the companies that will hire you, they want you to just stay there and vumilia because they believe you will not get a job easily. Getting a job is near zero. Like ni kama kujaribu kutafuta kitu ambayo haiko. You get me? So they take advantage of that, and that's the good thing about Gen Zs. But now we are worried about now the experience bit. Does experience really matter?
Okay, first of all, since we have established Gen Z is just a term that people use, so because these people you're calling Gen Z always voice out, so let's cancel that they want to be heard for their vibes. Then they're just speaking on a very comfortable working environment and not comfortable per se. So now we are not working, a less toxic. So they're more they're voicing their opinions on it. So I can settle my opinion on that. The Gen Z tusiwa eke matams mingi. So let's agree that what they're saying is right. And then now dissect it on a case-to-case basis. What exactly do you want? Like for an example of my friend, she just wanted you to cook fresh food. Is that as an employer? Rate yourself. If I come and tell you fresh food, bad food will chase away customers, can you just do fresh food? I'm not asking you, I want to be going home before I work, or weird comments. So number 3, before I answer your question, I wanted to ask you, is corporate ready for this? Because now that's where the clash happens. That's why this is a conversation topic, because we've established that they're right and what they're saying is correct, but we still also want to talk to them, the Gen Zs who feel like, okay, kina Matilda na Bonaredi wamesema we are right, so let's continue doing this, and then they stay home and then they're jobless for a while because corporate or employers are not ready for this communication. So how do they find the balance? How do they find the balance? For me, as you think about your comment, my comment would be, just look at what you can tolerate. Just look at what you can tolerate. If it's too much, then I would understand, because we wouldn't want you to go to toxic work environment that will pull you to depression, that will make you jump from 12th floor. Just see for you, just go there and then see what you can tolerate before you voice it out to your employer. Try discussing it with your parents if you're open to them, your sisters, if you guys communicate, or your friends. You see if it is something you can dissect. You remember when you were talking about the location, and then you advised that could you at least stay a bit longer so that you see you see if I was reacting on impulse, you wouldn't know, because I feel like I sort of got over it. Like it's something I could tolerate. It's not a good thing, but it is something I could tolerate. So if I was reacting on impulse, what could we be discussing right now?
Joblessness.
Yes. So do not react on impulse. First of all, just see what you really want. If it affects you mentally, now we can say that's a no. But if it's just because the tea, you are not given tea at 10, just like carry your tea at 10, so that at least you get the experience. And that goes to your question in terms of, are we going to look at experience as well? So to employers, I would say, look at the experience, because they do have experience. Most of these people are graduates. So you meet them halfway. First of all, look at their experience and onboard their vibes as well, because probably their vibes would have a positive impact in your company. Probably you didn't know how to handle social media, but Gen Z comes in, and then you now have social media pages. She's posting. She knows how to work with the hiyo ni ukikuyu ilikuwa sema
the algorithm
to sort of pull for you the numbers. You see, it's a positive change. So I do not want employers to generalize Gen Z. Bring her or him on board and listen to them. But for Gen Z, could you have the experience first as well, so that you can fit the job? In case you're saying experience, somebody posted on LinkedIn the other day, they graduated to 2023. They graduated na uko October from sijui ni June ama October, but alikuwa 2 months jobless before he got a job. So he posted on LinkedIn, anasema amechoka na kutafuta job, anataka apoteze achome makaratasi zake. Hii environment ni si poa kwake, as in there are no jobs. He's so heartbroken, he's broken, he's depressed, he doesn't know what to do. And I was like, 2 months.
Hajakutana na wa 20 years.
Unataka 2 months pekee unataka kuchoma makaratasi. I'll link the post, because people on his hapo kwa comment section were like, do you know how long it took some people? Do you know some people, even it didn't take employment? First of all, did you try volunteering? But that is a term they do not want to hear. But unfortunately, in this podcast, we'll tell you, unless you had a silver spoon, a godfather, a mentor, these people that once you're done with uni, you will have to have that period of suffering and tarmacking. You will have to experience that period, or working for free. You get the first period for exposure, working for free. And when you work for free, you have to work with your whole heart, because you don't know who is noticing,
who's
watching. As in, these are the tactics that you could, as a Gen Z, you could at least try and listen to your elders when they're telling you this, because now this is something that you cannot avoid, like I said, unless you are born with a silver platter or a godfather to give you something on the table. So for me, it's a meet me in between kind of situation for employers. Listen to the Gen Z per se on a case to case basis. Uangalie kama ana make sense. And for the Gen Zs who feel like, oh, this place doesn't have vibes, like I advised earlier, could you try and either meet the employer halfway and then check if the vibes will really kill you. If they will kill you, there's no need to stay there. If the vibes are so off that you will die, if the vibes are so off that you will be depressed, now I understand why you wouldn't want to stay there. But you wouldn't come and tell me. So if the Gen Z is telling you the vibes are off, try and ask them what vibes, because you know they also have their terms. the vibes are off, and probably it is the boss who keeps scolding. The vibes are actually off in that situation. So you check, you analyze, we meet each other halfway. So that is what I feel.
What can the employers do? I think the corporate is ready. Organizations are ready. In fact, if there's something that will make you easily employed, kinyozi hajinyoi, I'm the worst person to advise on this. If there's something that will get you easily employed, is if you're going to solve the systemic problems in the company. If you're working in a bank, the bank sector, the banking industry, they want someone who's going to improve system, someone who's going to be creative in how they can resolve systemic issues. And I feel like Gen Zs have the power to do so. They are creative, they see ahead, they are very focused, they can do so. So I believe, even it's just you said Gen Z is just a term, because even us as millennials, we have those Gen Z tendencies.
And then we had our terms as well. To think
it's just like a term that is being thrown out. Kuambiwa ave ni Gen Z because you do this, because you stand for your rights, because you say this and that. No, I believe we need these people, and we need to also learn from them. There's something called reversed mentorship, where it's them who are now advising us, and then now organizations should also be willing to pass the baton. Mentor these young people. They just need a little bit of mentorship. They need your guidance, and I think we can go far with that.
Exactly. So personality really matters.
It does
to
matter.
Answer our questions. And employers and Gen Z, let's meet each other halfway. Like, look at what you are willing to tolerate and continue with it. For an employer, be open to this, because probably they're coming to change or grow your organization.
Sure. Maybe we can wrap it up from here.
You give us your comments on the comment section. What do you think? Do you think Gen Z is a term? As an employer, have you had an experience with a Gen Z that you wish to share? As an employer, do you have an experience that you can share, and you let us dissect it? So let's conversate. Let's continue this Gen Z conversation, because like Matilda said, we need to learn how to pass the baton. So we need to mentor each other and meet each other halfway. This was such a nice first episode, being that it's January, people are looking for work, people are going back to work. So share with your Gen Z so that they can hear us say, look at what you can tolerate and continue with it, because chances of you getting what you want are in the near future once you get the experience. So I really enjoyed our first episode. Looking forward to the second one.
Yes. Remember, guys, to follow us on Instagram at HO Voices, and on Spotify, the Highly Opinionated Voices Podcast. Until next time, guys. Bye.